Thank you. Mr. Dodge, amending Chapter 1612 regarding legal non-conforming uses.
He's here.
Not here. Scared him off after the executive session.
He ran away.
Let me go to the rest of my life.
He'll be back.
So, John, you want to do your authorizing amendment to sheriff's score?
Coming back.
Good evening. The addendum that's in your packet, it's a 8% increase, but the cost has been the same for 3 years, and I expected this. It's a $7 a day daily rate, but it's a lot cheaper than some of our other options.
Questions from council? Councilor Gibbs?
When I looked through it, it looks like the original contract agreement was until 2015, but I didn't have time to read the whole thing, so is there something in there that has...
The rate's not
The rate's not included as part of that?
No, it's
Okay,
based
that's
on
just a service contract?
the other cities. We pay a percentage, and theirs went up, so ours went up.
Okay.
How are we, what's our percentage of using the score?
I try to do it 100%, but it's not far. I would probably 95%.
Okay. I've just seen like Yakima, or I've seen a couple of jails do it in Yakima, but others that seem far away in the payables with me, so I'm just curious.
Well, long-term commitments, usually 15 days or more. We pay for the sale as tribal because it's about half the rate. But then, and they don't cover our medical. We got a big bill down there, and we're fighting it. Everything's covered at score.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Other questions from council? Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Sure.
Maybe.
Okay.
For now.
Okay. What's the council's pleasure?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Is that all you got? I got light tonight.
With the arrow.
Okay. Jack, welcome back.
Oh, sorry, I should have been here.
Accidentally.
Okay, yeah. What I have before you is a proposed revisions, or actually a brand new chapter for legal non-conforming uses within the city zoning code. The way it's currently written, it's in chapter 1612, which really deals with administrative procedures within the city zoning code, whereas the legal non-conforming use regulations are actually land use control. So we're putting into the zoning code, into Title 20, and then we are going to provide better clarity within the code regarding what a legal non-conforming use is, what a legal non-conforming structure is. That's one of the changes. We do not have any definitions for legal non-conforming use or legal non-conforming structure within the code. So we need to have that so when somebody asks us what they are, we can tell them and then we can give them the code definition. So that's one of the big changes that we're doing as part of the changes to the legal non-conforming use section. Another thing that we're looking at is a property owner can request a legal non-conforming use determination from the city, and it'll be from the community development manager, it'll be myself. It's not mandatory, but what we quite often get is that a property owner or a bank, which is providing a loan for a piece of property, they'll quite often ask for that type of determination from the city to determine whether it's legal non-conforming or not, because then if it's legal non-conforming, it may affect the loan, what the rate is, or even the person who's trying to get the loan even to get it, because banks sometimes do not like to give loans for a use that's legal non-conforming that may not be able to be reconstructed if it's destroyed. Another section of the code establishes clear criteria in determining when a legal non-conforming use or structure is no longer legal non-conforming, or we're grandfather in. I know that's the common term that I use, but it's grandfather, but it's legal non-conforming. Yes. So it makes it really clear what the criteria is, so that when staff does get a question, or if somebody's just looking at our code to see what our requirements are, that they'll have a better understanding, and then if they have a question from staff, they'll have a better understanding. And legally, it'll be a lot clearer for people to know what they're looking at, and we have a legal non-conforming use. Questions?
Councilmember Webb?
I noticed on the destruction provision, our old code says you can't have been damaged beyond 50% of assessed valuation, and the new one is 50% of replacement cost. We're just modernizing that because often the assessment lags behind, or?
Yes, does lag behind, especially in the county assessor's office. And you can see when you look at your tax, or if you go on the assessor side and see what the assessor house has versus what the market may be assessing, what it may be on the market. So there is a lag between the assessor's office. Other questions?
Well, just a statement. I mean, the thing about assessed value is a lot of times when you have to replace a building, you have to replace it to current codes for construction purposes, and that's more expensive than what the value of that place might be absent those improvements. It should be based on the replacement value.
Other questions? What's the council's pleasure?
So we don't have to have a public hearing since
Planning Commission has a public hearing. The only reason the council would have a public hearing is if you want to make changes to the proposed regulations. But the Planning Commission did recommend approval as presented to you tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
And I might add, the Ordinance Committee also looked at that at this in December of last year and sent it off too.
Resolution 15-241.
This is a resolution for the council to approve our Earth Day event that's coming up in April 22nd. And it's our annual Earth Day. This is for supporting the Earth Day. Actually, the Parks Board won't be putting it on, but they will be supporting it, and also to provide for facilities for participants where we'll have a lunch for them as part of Earth Day, and the facilities will be for the East Room, from my understanding, over here, so that we would need to have a resolution to support it so that they can use city facilities, my understanding. And we will, actually the Parks Board will be talking some more about this tomorrow night, Earth Day, and coordination, because there is a group that will be coordinating Earth Day, my understanding. Questions?
Who's going to coordinate?
Well, we have.
Board's not going to be involved?
They're not going to be the coordinators. They're supporting Earth Day.
So it was brought to my attention that somebody from the park board had told me that they didn't appreciate the fact that they said that it says in here in section 1 that they will be assisting in planning for the annual Earth Day event, and that was not what was decided at the Parks Board. Not being there, I don't know what was decided when section 1 of the ordinance or the resolution.
Well, to support and assist, it really should just say support. There may be some members that will be there, but to help out, but not as official Parks Board members, you might say.
Okay, because it was brought to my attention that they only planned on just providing the space.
Right, and that was the intent. Yeah, we can take that, actually, we can take the assist out.
I think we should wait until after the park board meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
But, I mean, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'm not being at the park board meeting.
Okay.
It's at 6:30.
It's at 6:30, right after Planning Commission.
So who's planning it then? The park board is just going to be involved?
Partnerships.
Well, the partnerships, they may be involved, but there's another group that may be involved as part of that, and they'll be making a presentation to the Parks Board tomorrow night.
You know, the group is what?
Well, Gene Francher.
Friends of the Lower White River.
They'll be making a presentation at the Parks Board tomorrow night.
No, I have 8 volunteers. And
Are you a whole committee, Jean?
it's too bad that, you missed the, Earth Day in 2007.
I didn't look at it.
I know. So, and point of order, I don't know if you can make a decision based on minutes of the park board that haven't been approved until tomorrow, but,
I'm not voting
We're not
on
acting
this.
on that
Okay.
vote.
We're not
discussing it. I need to clarify something. I was at the partnership meeting, and Pacific Partnership stated they would be participating as citizens.
Right.
And there are some that will be,
Mm-hmm.
myself included. I
Eight.
volunteer
Mhm.
so.
Yeah. But what it
They're
really
not
comes
running
down,
it.
yeah, they were not running it, so that's why Jean will be at the meeting tomorrow to address the Parks Board.
Mayor Guy.
Well, I just have a question then. So, the park board doesn't want the spearhead of something that we try to organize to get people involved with to clean the park
Clean the parks, clean the city, yes.
in the city.
Mhm.
But they don't want to be the point person for this event.
That's correct.
Partnerships doesn't want to be the point person. So,
Mhm.
are you telling me that if Friends of the Lower White River didn't step up, we would have nobody spearheading this event?
That's correct.
may I
So,
make one?
hang on one sec,
Sure.
Councilor Steiger.
The reason that the park board is not going to get involved in whatever, is this to do with some controversy over the membership thing and so forth? I mean, is that?
No, it's not.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna ask council, we don't typically take public comment in a workshop, do we wanna have Jean speak?
I'd like to hear it. I would say since she is gonna be part of the team.
Common sense hasn't ever taken any kind of foothold here before, so I just wanted to ask.
Can we ask if Gary can explain or elaborate on why park board?
Gary, you're the chair of the Parks Board, right?
No, he's temporary, but, go ahead.
Well,
Yeah, I'll say a couple things, 1 minute.
Okay, come with the microphone.
The park board, the way I've seen it, and this is the way I presented it to the park board, is that we are an advisory to the city council. And it's not really, we, as the park board members, should be having the burden of the, planning the event. We provide the parks, okay? Jean wants to plan an event, and that's perfect. Pacific Partnerships does not want to plan the event this year. Pacific Partnerships is still recovering from the last year or so financially, as far as I see it. But they said that they would just be participants this year. So out of that came a motion, and the motion was that we would simply provide the facility and hopefully a couple dumpsters. And Pacific Partnership said that they know where there's garbage and stuff that we can put in, clean up the city that way. And also, I'd just like to add that I've studied up on Earth Day, and you know, it would work out just fine if we just go with this resolution. And also, I have looked at the resolution and kind of commenting on what Mayor Geyer started to say, that somebody had said something. It might have been me, but it's a little bit different than that exactly. I've looked at the resolution a little bit, but the way the resolution sits now, and I'm not sure if it's the same as it was last year. I'm kind of going off a little bit from what you asked me, but it looks like we are being ordered as park board members to plan this event. And you know, I just want to add that we are volunteers, and it's a park board. It's not a park and recreations board, okay? So everybody show up on the 25th, and we'll see what we can do. We have tools. We've done this in the past, and we can have a good time. And I support what Jean, if Jean wants to plan something, that's fine. She can show up and set up her tent and do what she usually does.
So if Park Board is participating as citizens, is this needed? Is this resolution needed?
For dumpsters, maybe, spend money.
Then we need to rewrite this, because if they're coming as citizens, then we need to rework it after tomorrow. If we know that Friends of the Lower Right River are who's gonna organize this, and we can waive the fees for them, would be my thought. Councilman Steiger?
You might check, I think, on the dumpster situation. Waste management, part of their contract is to produce the dumpsters for cleanup day.
That's great.
Yes.
But we're just talking about the facilities, using the facilities.
Well, I know, but you're talking expensive to get dumpsters in, is what I thought I heard.
Well, no, I'm just saying, part of the fees, I mean, if they're using City Hall, they'd be using it for the dumpsters, we're not going to. Councilman Rolver?
I'm not positive on this, but I have a question about if it's run by the Park Board, does that mean that everybody that participates is under the city's insurance? Or that could be why partnership takes a backseat and assists the Park Board.
That's how it's been done in the past, it's through the Park Board, so the insurance is covered.
Right, so, partnerships is going to us as citizens and participating. Some of us will be cooking food and serving food. But, that's it.
Councilman Bud?
I believe that's also on the dumpster situation, that the garbage contract is with the city, so it needs to be a city event in order for the donated dumpsters to be made available for the event. It has to be our event.
So this resolution will be done.
Yeah, but it's just Park Board, can't the city just sponsor it? In partnership with Friends of the Lower Right River? Sounds like Park Board wants to just show up and do it as individual citizens.
Well, it sounds to me, though, I mean, the assistant planning was the only thing that I heard that was an issue, but by the Park Board supporting, you know.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I don't know how our employees are set up in public works to support something like this, if their schedule's flexible enough to allow, an employee to be available that day.
They have to be paid.
I know, that's what I'm saying, can they flex their schedule and be paid for that day?
And that's overtime day, Saturday, not even a regular day. I mean, it's not a regular day for them, they would be on overtime.
So we don't have the ability to flex schedules in the city?
Not for public works.
Other questions? What's the council's pleasure?
I'm not sure I agree with this resolution.
Well, this kind of happens at the meetings all night.
Yeah. Can we just bring an accurate resolution depending on what happens tomorrow night?
Yes, we could, and like I said, we could take the assist out of section 1. So really, they just want to
Let's just
support
move forward pending possible changes.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying if tomorrow, after the Park Board determines that the city needs to partner with Friends of the Lower Right River Park Board, then this resolution needs to change to whatever.
With possible change.
So,
It doesn't address the insurance
Your
issue.
time's up.
but if the city partners with them, then it would. And I would expect somebody's gonna talk to the attorney as well.
Yes.
To make sure. Or the insurance company. Okay. Cool, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.